Welcome to medicalmarijuanabootcamp.com. I'm Chubbs.
I'm Tang.
Right now we are answering some bootcamp questions and continuing a session. What's the question we have?
It's like my two favorite things in the whole world.
Yeah, exactly. Helping people out and getting high.
Okay, so me says, what do you see the future of this being? This meaning medical marijuana. Chubbs, where do you see the future? Let's say it's December 21st, 2012, and the world has not ended yet.
Right, the Mayans are wrong.
The Mayans are wrong. So, what do you see medical marijuana? What do you see the marijuana business in particular looking like? In 2-3 years.
A lot of times when people say, where do you see the future? Where do you see? I mean, it's kind of like we are in the future right now. When you think about it, I mean, this started in '96.
Yeah.
This has been going on for 13 years.
Right.
So this isn't something brand new. They're like, I wonder what this is gonna, I wonder where this is gonna go. We've gone.
It's already here.
Yeah, we're here. As far as where I think it's going to go from here,
yeah.
2 years. Oh gosh, let's say the whole full legalization does not fly in the 2010 vote, and we have to stick to the current medical marijuana business model, or whatever you want to call it. Bigger and badder. I think what happened in LA recently with the vote, capping them to 70 or 80 dispensaries plus the pre-ICOs that are at 170 or whatever. I hate to say it, I think that's a good thing. It was just getting too saturated. Way too saturated out there.
I have to disagree with you, Chubbs.
You think so?
I do.
What's your opinion?
I think that I don't think there should be any artificial limits set on the number of dispensaries. I think that's something that the market should determine. So if there's, right now there's a lot of bad dispensaries that are in business just because there's such a high demand, not enough supply.
Maybe let me rephrase that. Maybe I think that there should be some sort of regulation. I hate it when I go to do a review of a dispensary and you walk in and it's just a little hole-in-the-wall dungeon with swag at $80 an eighth,
right? And
they strong-arm you into buying. They use really strong sales tactics, and that bothers me.
I totally agree with you.
And they probably don't have a business license that says medical marijuana, and that's another thing that I kind of disagree with.
Well, it's actually kind of similar to what the restaurant industry was in, say, like 1850s, 1870s in America. Back then, when you went to a restaurant, half the time you got sick because there was no regulation, there's no standards. So
it just open up.
Yeah, so you really have to know. You have to be a local, so it was a really problem for traveling salesmen. They would go to a new city, but they wouldn't know what were the good restaurants that you wouldn't get sick at, and what were the bad restaurants.
I can see. Yeah, it's a good analogy for sure.
So what happened? They had those grading system, right? A, B, C, D, or F. And the city of Los Angeles started to do that, or San Francisco, and it kind of went all the way through the state. I'm good, Chubbs. So I definitely think there should be regulation. I don't think there should be like, oh yeah, there should only be 20. But
let's say there's 2,000. You still think there should be some sort of board or some sort of organization or somewhere, some association, somebody who can go in and say, this is a legit. I hate to use the word legit. But
well, I think it should be. I think we should do it as an industry. We should agree to some sort of regulation among ourselves. That way, the government doesn't have to get involved. Because I just hate it when the government gets involved and they screw things up, like they pretty much do in every other industry. So in this one, it would be nice if we could actually come together and, as a consensus, as a group of people in the medical marijuana business, say this is how we're going to run it. Here is the standard. Right. Not going to happen, perhaps. Unless we do it. And we get people on board with us.
It's going to be tough. But 2 years from now, you never know. A lot can happen in 2 years. It's a lot of time. I think that
this will be heavily regulated, though, just because of what it is, just because how politicians are really scared of marijuana.
One thing I think is going to happen for sure in the near future, and when I say near future, I mean the next 2 to 3 years. I think that counties are going to start. Every county seems to be doing things their own way. And every city in each county seems to be doing things a little differently. They need to kind of get a little more uniformity in regards to counties operating in similar manners. That's my opinion. Everything is just so different depending on where you live. What your zip code is determines how many plants you can grow.
That's a good point, man. And I think in general, I think it's kind of a good idea to have different cities have different rules that are more like specific to the location, the people that live in that location. Because there's like a sentiment and a temperament of people that live in certain locations. But right now, you don't know whether it's legal or illegal to have 6 plants in San Bernardino or 7 plants in Ventura County.
Now, what if you move?
Exactly. So it just needs to be legalized. That will solve lots of these issues that we're talking about here, Chubbs. In fact, all of them.
I mean, look at how many issues there are with alcohol. I mean, when I say none, I mean obviously the alcoholism and drunk driving and all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about on the business side, on the government side.
Yeah.
There are very few issues with alcohol because it's legal,
Yeah.
because they've regulated it, they've taxed it, and they've kind of got a system in place. Transition sucked from prohibition to legalization. They had to get it right. Once they got it right,
Right.
it's smooth sailing.
Yep.
And that's what'll probably happen if we go full legal. If we stay medical, it's hard to say, man. Things change so quickly for the both positive and negative in the medical marijuana industry. San Diego, it went from running raids to putting a commission together.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to predict 2 years from now, let alone, or 2 weeks from now, let alone 2 years from now.
Agreed. Well, for the medical marijuana bootcamp,
Real quick, short answer, I think it's going to be good. I think anything, I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything real too negative happening. You can't unwind what's already done. Medical marijuana is legal. It's going to remain legal. Now, to what degree, but I think the ball's going to keep rolling in the right direction.
I hope so, and I think you're right.
Yeah. For medicalmarijuanabootcamp.com, I'm Jess.
I'm Tag.
Peace.
Peace.